Takes.
Hello again, and welcome to another episode of Two Takes. I'm Chad Reidlinger.
And I'm Howard Vernick.
Talking everything in the real estate and mortgage industries. So first topic we got this week, Zillow is our frenemy.
Well, that's a new word, frenemy, huh?
Yeah, I had to Google that. So a couple fun facts on Zillow before we get started. Zillow launched its mortgage lending or mortgage lead generation business about 11 years ago. Another fun Zillow fact is they received 25 million loan requests last year from borrowers asking to be paired with lenders. Not quite sure how many of those 25 million knew they were asking. It's usually a little checkbox they forget to
Right,
uncheck.
they forget to uncheck it.
And last fun fact is in February, Zillow said it's looking to double its revenue in business lines, providing leads to lenders and realtors over the next 3 to 5 years. So normally people have three opinions when it comes to Zillow. Opinion number one, who cares? Zillow doesn't impact my business. Number two, Zillow's coming for my job. And number three, Zillow will eliminate realtors and lenders. Howard, where do you stand on this?
Well, I don't see how they're going to eliminate realtors and lenders. They develop so much business that even if they reach their goals, there's still plenty of business left over for everybody else. Yep. I think that where the ball was dropped and now the cat's out of the bag was years ago that the real estate industry gave them all the information.
Right.
Now they have it, so you got to play with them. They're
too big now.
The biggest player in the market, and we have to figure out how to play and how to play nicely.
Yeah, I think that window of opportunity for realtors and lenders to kind of put a stop to Zillow has passed. So yeah, I think that look, Zillow can't possibly handle as much business if they with their own mortgage company that they're trying that they can only do so much, and so there's so many more leads for lenders and realtors alike, and really the majority of their revenue. So I think it said that their revenue was over $1 billion. Last year, and the majority of that came from their lead generation. So it's not coming from them in the mortgage business. They do a very small amount of their revenue that way. So I think it's pretty safe to say that realtors and lenders, if they're in the lead purchase business, that Zillow is going to be a great partner of theirs.
Absolutely, and I think that it's one channel that all the realtors and lenders should take, along, of course, with developing their own business.
Yeah, the only thing that's going to eliminate realtors and lenders is the coronavirus.
There you go. So the average FICO score hits a record high. The average FICO score in the U.S. hit its all-time high at 703 last year, according to the 2019 Consumer Credit Review by credit reporting company Experian, up 14 points since 2010. What do you think about that?
Well, I think the first thing that jumps off the paper to me is that they're measuring it from 2010, which is like on the heels of everybody's credit scores probably dropping, 80 to 100 points in the, fiasco of 2008 and 2009. So I think that they're measuring it from a beginning point that they shouldn't be. They should be measuring it from, I'd like to see it from 2005. The other thing is waiting for the next shoe to fall. So I'd like to revisit this in 2022 after we have our next market correction and see what people's credit scores are then.
You mean it's not fair to measure one of the worst economies ever to one of the best economies ever? Is that what you're trying to say?
It makes good headlines, though. It makes it look really good that things are getting really good. And I know we like to give millennials a hard time, or the markets do at least, and it's easy to kind of target them. But they say they're a driving force for a lot of this. I mean, their average scores went up 25 points since 2012 as well. And a lot of those millennials weren't actually the ones that were hurt in the 2008. So they have increased their credit.
Right. And, the younger generation has been living at home longer. I think the parents are helping them more. So the ones that are having trouble, they're being bolstered by their families, right, where that really wasn't happening before. So, I think a lot of people, they learn their lesson. There is not as much second mortgages being taken out, right, home equity lines of credit, and people aren't using their homes as piggy banks. They're using it as a bank.
And those families, they just want those kids out of their basement. That's really the reason they're helping them with their credit.
Right. Although we have no basements here in Florida, they'd be flooded.
That's true. All right, topic number 3 this week. So Credit Karma is the mortgage industry's best friend after a $7.1 billion sale to Intuit. So Zillow is our frenemy. Credit Karma, they're saying it's mortgage industry's best friend. What's your take?
Well, Credit Karma has 109 million members, and Intuit has another 50 million. So they have a ton of information,
right,
where they can take all that information, almost fill out a complete 1003, and Intuit, their job is to help people figure out their finances. So right now, they're not trying to sell leads on a bulk basis.
Right,
it's one by one,
yep,
and they don't have Credit Karma Bank yet, and they don't have Credit Karma Mortgage yet. So it's almost like you're giving this entity so much power, and now it's what is it going to do with the power? Right,
and I think that's a big difference between Credit Karma and, say, someone like Zillow, is that they are really trying to be the matchmaker. The article referenced like Match.com, so they're trying to pair the perfect lender with the perfect borrower versus sending that lead to 10 different people and then having the borrower get bombarded by calls, emails, and text messages.
That's today, and that's until they determine that no lender's good enough for their borrowers, right, and that they're going to do it themselves.
And they can make 10 times as much money selling it to 10 more people.
Right. And I don't think they'll do the bank option because there's so much more regulation. I think they would either pair with probably pair with a mortgage
right,
company that's out there. And I'm sure that we'd all be standing in line.
Yeah, I think Credit Karma is a great option for people to look at for mortgage leads. Last but not least.
So the 5 home features millennials love. So you're never going to guess, but it's all things to make things more convenient for them.
Who would have thought?
It seems like they'd rather be in a condominium over a townhouse. And these are millennials that have money. These are not your starter millennials. These are guys who have already done well,
right,
and now they have choices on where they want to live. So they're looking at condos over townhouses because they don't want to have to take care of anything.
Yeah,
Is that crazy?
I mean, I think that's kind of, in a nutshell, millennials, right? They want the time more so than the possessions.
Right. They want a smart home integration. They want rooftop pools and entertainment. In New York, they're concerned how close their apartments are to work and play. It's stuff that you can understand, and they've grown up with, how can I make things the most convenient? I want everything right now.
Yeah, I mean, look, these things, I actually agree with a lot of these things, especially for, look, we're talking specifically millennials. So they don't have kids yet, most likely, or they're just starting families. So it makes more sense that they're going to want to live where they work, make it convenient, where it's social, they can meet people. So this makes a lot of sense to me. Obviously, when they get a little bit older, then I think that's when we see them, move out to.
Watch out, suburbs! Here they come.
Exactly.
They're going to lose their smart homes. They're going to have to cut their own yard. They're going to have to take care of their own stuff.
Exactly.
Or at least hire somebody to do so.
Yeah, that's probably the direction.
Although I cannot lie, I'm in that group myself.
Me too.
And you don't call me a millennial.
We do not. So, and on that note, thanks for joining us again for another episode of Two Takes. Until next week, I'm Chad Reidlinger.
And I'm Howard Vernick. Thank you so much for joining us, and have a great day.
Catch you guys next time.